attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help you get the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Call the trial attorneys you can trust. 877-42-LIBERTY.
Schwizo Construction is now hiring for skilled craftsmen, steel erectors, concrete workers, and general laborers. Schwizo Construction offers great benefits like premium wages, health and dental insurance, paid holidays and vacation, 401k with company match, life insurance, and disability insurance. They pride themselves on a legacy of 40 years built on integrity and trust. Joining their team means becoming part of a family that values hard work, dedication, and mutual respect. Apply today at schwizo.com. That's SCHWISOW.com.
Since 1983, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs have been a trusted and reliable company in Lincoln and the surrounding areas. Fast Mike's handles all sides of construction projects, home renovations, or big cleanouts. With the perfect size dumpster to fit your needs, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs will haul it all. With same-day delivery in Lincoln, affordable rates, and top-notch service, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs make cleanup quick and easy. Call now at 402-450-6828 or visit us online at fastmikesrolloffs.com. Book your dumpster today. Fast Mike's Roll-Offs, cleanup made simple.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in Ticket Weeknights. Harrison Arns still on the ones and twos, as always, come 6 o'clock Monday through Thursday. We got Chris Raff, the host of the show, joining us. Raff's Good Take on Sports, 402-464-5685. You guys are always welcome to join in via the Sartor Heyman text line. And we still got NFL on the brick and mortar currently, Buccaneers. And
it's over.
Oh, it is over?
It's over. Yep. Buccaneers won.
What was the final score of that one?
20-19. Baker Mayfield struck late in the game, and yes, the Buccaneers go to 2-0, and the Texans go to 0-2.
Jeez. Okay, I was supposed to anticipate it going. All right, so there's your update on that. 2019 Buccaneers win. They continue undefeated, 2-0. And then up next, this one also on the brick and mortar. We do got Chargers Raiders. Let me double check it's on the brick and mortar. Yeah, it looks like this one will be as well. So with that being said, we got more and more NFL coming your way. Chris Raff, though, the floor is yours as the host of the show. I'll let you kick things off.
Well, first I got to ask you, Harrison, what did you do this weekend? I mean, were you busy, or did you just watch football all the entire weekend?
It was all football. Yeah, and a Canelo Crawford fight. And then not so much Bears football. It got pretty bad. I had to turn it off at the fourth quarter. About 7 minutes left to go. I couldn't watch it anymore. It made me sick. But otherwise, there's a lot of other great football games that I watched. Mine wasn't one of them, but it was a good weekend. It was all football for the most part.
Yeah, football. Yeah, boxing match Saturday night. Man, I'll tell you what, that I saw that it drew 41 million watchers on Saturday night, the most watched fight, I believe, in the history of boxing. I mean but it was on Netflix, so you didn't have the big pay-per-view numbers that they used to do back in the day. I remember that back when we were younger, the Mike Tyson days, there'd be like an entire block, and then that one family would have like the pay-per-view, or they would have HBO, so everybody would like cram into their basement. So yeah, you always kind of wonder back in the 80s just how many people were watching the Mike Tyson fights, and those fights like that being that everybody was cramming into one place. I remember when Mike Tyson got out of prison, he fought Terry McNeely, and we got the pay-per-view, and we had like the entire Nebraska football team, the entire Nebraska baseball team. We had everybody there. And then once the fight was over, they were gone.
I do wonder what some of those numbers were. Those numbers had to have been massive if not everybody was just watching on the same TV.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I was a little kid, it was like there was one family that had the Mike Tyson fight, and you would have like the entire neighborhood crammed in, to the basement watching the fight. And I remember vividly, I never had a seat for a Mike Tyson fight. It was always the floor, find a place. And then usually, thankfully for Mike, that he would end things pretty quickly. So you weren't sitting on the floor all that long. Sometimes there were a lot of people during that time that were headed to the restroom and they would miss the fight. They'd come out of the restroom and be like, I'm in for a good fight tonight. And he'd be like, well, Mike ended it in the first round, or he ended it in the first, 91 seconds. And it was over. Like, I remember that the Michael Spinks fight when he won in 91 seconds, people were stunned because Michael Spinks had given Larry Holmes, I believe they fought twice before that. And Michael Spinks was like the fighter, and Mike just totally, destroyed him. It was crazy.
Well, that's on your friends for walking out. It's a Mike Tyson fight. Like, there's a good chance that the light's going to turn out way quicker than anybody anticipates. Because, that was his whole MO for a certain point of his career was, I'm going to come out there in the first 10 seconds and just land a ton of blows and just see how you react. And most of the time, they get rocked and dropped before they knew it.
Yeah, it was must-watch television. I just remember just how big, the Mike Tyson fights were. And then, I give credit to, Canelo and Bud Crawford. I mean, boxing over the last, I don't know, 10, 15 years, just the way that you want these fights to happen. And it's like they never happen. Like for so many years, Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, they wanted that fight so bad for so many years. And then when it finally did happen, it just felt like it was maybe like 3 or 4 years too late. But it was cool that, that
you remember the McGregor and Floyd fight and how disappointing that one was?
Yeah. That was horrible. The same thing. But it was just, there's just that stuff. And then even too, was it Jake Paul, the boxer? Like, I was talking to a friend of mine about this. It's like he's fighting, but half the time he fights these guys that are like 30, 40 pounds that are not, boxers to begin with. But then he talks about, hey, he wants to be considered a legitimate boxer. Well, it's like sooner or later, you're going to fight guys your own size, or you're going to fight guys that are, true professionals. I believe the only time he's lost was when he did kind of fight, a professional. I think it was Tommy Fury, Tyson Fury's brother. But it's just, I don't know. It's weird, but it was cool to see just the respect between, Canelo and Bud. I was like, come on now. But, it's like, but even like leading up to the match, they had a little scuffle on the little push and stuff, but it was pretty respectful all throughout that. Even after the fight, the clip made the news of where Crawford hands his titles back over to Canelo, so usually they keep them and, they frame them and they have them, for the sake, but that he did that in front of his kids and stuff like that. That's very respectful, to Bud Crawford to do that.
Are you giving the belts back, Raff, if you're in that situation?
Yeah, because I'm going to get my own. I'm going to get my own with the spinner, and I'm going to get Raff on the side and picture me. And, when I win my first heavyweight boxing championship. So
I'm surprised by that. I mean, that's a brutal sport. Anything with UFC boxing where like you're doing those training camps for so long, just getting ready and just being absolutely strict with yourself. I would want that belt. I would not want to give that thing back. But credit to their sportsmanship. Crawford says, here you go. If you're Canelo, would you want him back?
Yeah. What he'll do is he has his, when they did the lead up to the fight, he has his trophy room and belts room. So they keep them, or they eventually get them back, because now Crawford will, make his own belts. The one that surprised me is, I don't know, did he hand him back the ring belt? I don't know if he handed him that one or not.
I don't know if he did or not. The video I saw, you kind of just saw from a distance. He gave him back like 3 belts. I'm not entirely sure on that.
Yeah. So, but no, it's crazy. And just to think that, you'd have to say would you put Crawford on the Mount Rushmore of greatest boxers ever?
Yeah. I think you kind of have to. I mean, he's in that era of undefeated, 31 knockouts. And his biggest problem is it feels like fighters have been ducking him, where it's not his fault that the best fighters didn't want to fight him, because he wasn't always like the biggest purse if you scheduled a fight with Crawford for whatever reason. So it took a long time until that Errol Spence fight. And then all of a sudden it was like, okay, Crawford might be the best pound for pound fighter. But even in that one, I mean, Canelo was guaranteed like 150 mil, and I think Crawford was guaranteed 10. Now Crawford won. I don't know how the payments went out after the fact. Like, I'm sure Crawford did very, very, very well for himself. But yeah, he was in an unfortunate position in terms of, I think some of the better fighters just wouldn't want to schedule him because they might lose, and the pay, even if it's wrong, wouldn't be as good as maybe some other fights.
Yeah. So now, what do you think now? Does he ride off into the sunset, or do you think he schedules maybe one final fight at Memorial Stadium? I got to think that the Memorial Stadium fight is on his wish list, his bucket list. I mean, you got to think if he fights at Memorial Stadium, so it holds what, 92,000 on game day. So you're going to throw up another, what, 5,000 or 6,000 on the field, maybe more. So you got to be getting close to, it'd probably be what was volleyball is 92,003, right?
I was gonna say it was like 92,003, maybe even closer to 100,000. I'll look it up real quick, but it was.
I think it was 92,003 from when they had it on the Devaney Cook Center, or the Devaney Center at Cook Court. So you got to think that they'd be nearing
92.
close to,
92.
Probably 95,000 possibly. I think it's something that has to happen, or that Troy Dannon, and they've got to look into that pretty seriously. And I think that's something that Bud Crawford wants to fight at Memorial. I mean, that, man, a night fight there with a little bit of the drone action. And I mean, that would be one heck of a spectacle.
Did you read this somewhere, or is this like kind of been murmurs? Like, because I have never thought about that, but that makes all the sense in the world. And that would be awesome.
There's been some talk about it that one day that he'd want to have a boxing match at Memorial Stadium. I mean, it'd be must watch. I mean, that goes right up there with Volleyball Day in Nebraska. I mean, you have, right now the state's favorite son fighting in what possibly could be his final boxing match. And I would think that, the payday would be pretty gigantic, because now I think Bud is probably the pay guy now. He's setting, what he wants, because even with Spence and Canelo, they still were the ones that were getting the most of the money. But now I think I guess the only thing that's kind of sad about it now is just that he's kind of at that age now where when he's getting to the point where he can set the money, he's probably got to look maybe at retiring. I don't know. Is there, I mean, a Canelo Bud Crawford fight too. I mean, I'd watch that. I mean, that was
clause in it though. I think they would have put a rematch clause in there if they wanted to do that.
Yeah. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what transpires with, Bud Crawford over the next. I would think that if it happens at Memorial Stadium, it would probably be next summer. That'd be probably the place that you would look at. And I'd probably, man, I was going to say that, I mean, this would be one crazy, insane weekend. But if you could somehow have the fight on Friday and the football game on Saturday, or Friday football game, Saturday boxing match, could you imagine how many people would be in town? It would be insane.
I was looking up
logistical nightmare, but still would be crazy.
It would be a logistical nightmare, but it'd be a good kind of crazy. What do you think the record is for boxing match attendance? Record.
Oh, I'm going to say probably over 100,000, maybe some Julio Cesar Chavez in Mexico or something like that.
1941.
Hello.
Milwaukee.
Oh.
Any ideas?
Now I'm going to say 31,000. I don't know.
1941, 135,000. 130.
I guess I could say 31 because they did 70,000 at the at Allegiant. How many did you say? 131,000?
135,000 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Junie Park, however you say that. It was Tony Zale versus Billy Pryor, 1941, August 16th.
Wow, that's crazy.
So
They
again,
must,
talk about how big boxing was and how crazy small it's
yeah,
gotten today.
man, that's a lot of people. I wonder that park. I mean, how if they just piled everyone in standing up, because there's always talk. I always remember the old stories of Beechner Field at Lincoln High. Lincoln High used to play their home football. Well, I guess now they play some games there now, but back in like the 50s and 60s, Bobby Reynolds would come to town and they'd put like 10, 15, 20,000 people at Beechner Field, which if you ever drive by there in front of Lincoln High, that holds, maybe on a good day, maybe, 3,500 possibly. And to imagine that there were 20,000 people inside that stadium, I mean, just aligning the field. And I mean, that's wild, but 130,000, that's craziness.
I actually found a picture of it, and I will pull it up. So we're streaming only, so it'll be great. People can see it on the stream, but you can see how unreal this looks. And this is again 1941, so you're gonna have to bear with me for the quality of it. But this is Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where they're having this fight, and you can see the ring all the way in the middle.
Oh
But
my
I mean,
God.
it is all people, and this is, I'm sure, not even the middle. I mean, it's not even capturing the entire thing, but unreal. That was 1941 to watch Billy Pryor and Tony Zale, and they got to 135,000 people.
Man, that's crazy.
I was thinking maybe Memorial Stadium can get that record. No, we're not. We're not going to get 135,000 people in Memorial Stadium.
No, we're gonna let that record go. I don't think we're gonna touch that one. I don't know if there's any places in Nebraska where maybe go out to a cornfield or something and just put a ring up and first 200,000 to get in for free or something. But I got a feeling that'll be a pretty pricey ticket when it happens. But I would think next summer, I think you're going to hear possibilities that there's a chance that, Bud Crawford, I mean, it's something that's got to happen. I mean, the state's crying for it. When he's fought in Omaha. I think he's fought in Omaha a few times, but I remember when he fought at PBA against Tribago or he had a crazy name, but he fought him at PBA, and that night it was crazy. I remember it was what's the old barbecue fest? They used to have the barbecue fest right up next to there, so they had that going on at the same time. So what was that called? Barbecue fest. Somebody on the text line help me out. What do they call that? They had it at the state fair or at the Lancaster County Fair this year.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you the county fairs in Lincoln.
Yeah, it's some fest. Can't remember. It's not barbecue fest or
Check Days Fest. I got no idea.
Nah. Check Days. That's in Wilbur. Huh. Oh well. Somebody maybe I'll text in if they're listening.
Roadies can always figure it out.
Yeah, someone, come on, Roadies, I need help. I mean, it's so easy. Once I hear it, I'm just gonna be like, yeah, I knew that. But
well, we're thinking about it. Hopefully, it comes back to you because I got no clue. So all on you and listeners to try to figure out that riddle. Husker football. Give me your thoughts, Raff. Another dominant performance. That's 2 weeks in a row where I didn't have a beat of sweat. I was just relaxing. My heart rate was, let's see what it was. Averaging around 68 for that game. Not worried at all. That's phenomenal. I have been able to have just a calm manner in a long time, especially not 2 games in a row like that.
Yeah, the thing I like about it so far is both those games, they did what they were supposed to do. Prior years, maybe they get the victory, but you come out of the game and you're like, oh, and this one, the last 2, they went in, they've been dominant, they've had chances, for shutouts in both games. I really like the way the offense, I feel like the offense has got some rhythm. I think Dana Holgerson has, got some rhythm calling plays. I like the way it's going, but like I said, we got the big game this week against Michigan, and all that, could be, I hate to say it, but it's a what have you done for me lately world that we live in, and all this good feeling and vibe could be flushed down the toilet this weekend, or it could be one of these springboard games that finally puts Nebraska up to where they're getting some recognition. like the top 25, the AP poll, it's like now after, we talked about how people just kind of really don't care much about it, even the voters. That now I see the poll come out and it's like we lose votes when we win by 50. So it's just like I don't even really care much about the polls now. It's just like Coach Rule says, it's about trying to go for winning the Big Ten and getting a chance to be in that playoff. As for the AP polls and stuff like that, they're pretty much pointless.
Yeah, I mean, Notre Dame's 0-2.
They still in the top 25. Yeah,
number 24. To your point, Nebraska has two of the most dominant performances. I don't care who they're playing. Like, if you're high on Nebraska, those two games would probably make you even higher on them, and you're losing votes all of a sudden. Illinois, who's 3-0, doesn't move at all. Texas, I don't care what Manning is struggling, and they're still sitting there at number 8 by being 2. They only drop one spot, which, okay, maybe. I don't know. I think we're just okay to throw the AP poll out of the window at this point. Yeah, I just don't give it a whole lot of thought, concern, or credit because I don't think it deserves it. So,
well, I think I saw Nebraska lost votes from prior week. It's like they won by 50. They took care of business. I understand they're probably not a top 25 team yet, but you still got to give them a little bit of respect with a few more votes than what they've received. But like I said, it's all one of those things that, Nebraska takes care of business this week. They start getting a little bit of attention, but at the end of the day, it's not really going to matter. It's where you place out in the Big Ten anyway. So you can be ranked, whatever, but as long as you place well in the Big Ten, and that's Nebraska's focus.
Well, just for the fun of it, let's play the AP poll game with Nebraska. Week 1, do you remember how many votes they had?
23.
Hey, nice. 23.
Really?
23 on the dot. Not ranked, but votes, 23 votes. Yeah. Week 2, they beat Cincinnati. Close game, 20-17. How many votes you think they got?
Probably 19.
13. You go 23-13, just like that, even though you just beat Cincinnati.
Off of a victory.
Off of a victory. And Cincinnati, by the way, actually looking pretty good. I know it was Northwestern Baptist, but they beat them 70-0. Week 3. Okay, now you light up the Akron Zips. You had 13 weeks prior. How many votes do they have? Week 3, after beating the Akron Zips.
23.
10. They go down again. And then week 4, we already talked about it. You go
9.
You lose 1 more vote. So you went from 23 to 20. What was it? 13-9? I don't know. Every single time we've won all these games, and we're just going down and down and down in the AP poll. It doesn't make any sense in the world. So I just wanted to point that out to say, who cares about the AP poll? I mean, it's just losing so much credibility, and it's not just because what was the name? Haley Sawyer.
Yeah.
I mean, there's too many people that are just voting willy nilly for me to give it any real credible attention until we get into later in the season.
I mean, how do you win? How do you win by 50? I mean, I understand, but it's like you shouldn't lose votes. I mean, it's stand pat at the worst, but it's like, how do you justify, Notre Dame being on 2? Yes, I know they played stauncher competition, but still they lost 2 games. So I don't know. It's interesting to me, but it's definitely one of those things that I see it and I just sort of laugh. Now I'm sitting here going, I hope Nebraska, continues to win, and I hope AP gives them no attention, and then maybe they cause some noise later in the season, and then the AP can be like, well, but I don't know. That's funny. I think the greatest fear for the country right now is that Nebraska becomes good at football again. I think that would be the greatest fear in the country, just for the fact that I think Nebraska fans have waited so long to be good again that I hate to say it. I think we'll be probably pretty insufferable if we become a powerhouse again.
Definitely. And we have the right to be insufferable, I think, for a few weeks. Then we got to pull the brakes back. But I mean,
it might be a few years if Nebraska really gets good at football again. I think Nebraska fans, as much as I love those Nebraska fans, I think we're going to become pretty annoying because, face it, for the last 24 years, we've been shut out of take away a couple of years in 2009, 2010, but But yeah, I think Nebraska fans are ready just to be insufferable, and I'm good with it. I saw a guy post about if Nebraska wins, I hope that they don't storm the field, on Saturday, because act like we've been there before. And I was just like, well, most of the people or most of the kids or none of the kids probably at the university were even alive the last time, Nebraska had a great win. It's like, yeah, that's whatever they want to do. If the students want to storm the field after a win on Saturday, more power to them.
Yeah, that's where I'm always sitting. I'm like, hey, just speak for your own generation. Like sometimes it sounds like a mean thing to say, but it's like these kids haven't got to see anything. I didn't get to see one bowl game.
Yeah.
0.
If you asked me this question, say 10 years ago, I'd be like, no, come on now. This is Nebraska. We don't storm the field. But then after talking to some of the kids and, talking to AD's kids who never saw a bowl game, my buddy's friend who came up from Texas never saw a bowl game. I'm like, we got to celebrate something. That's why I really think Nebraska fans, if we become a football powerhouse again, I could see some very insufferable Nebraska fans out there. And once again, I say more power to them. It's deserved to be put through what we've been put through over the last, 24 years. It's been a heck of a ride for Nebraska football. So I think it's time to,
I think the most insufferable part before we throw a break here, and we got one from the text line as well I want to get to, would just be the Husker burner accounts on Twitter.
Yeah.
I love Husker football fans. The amount of Husker football accounts on Twitter makes no sense. There's like, I swear each person has like 5 Husker burner accounts. There's so many of them. And we've dominated like all these social media polls despite being like a 3-win team. Yep. If we start winning games, I can't imagine how many new Husker football accounts would pop up on Twitter. And then, yes, we would hit, it wouldn't be in the public insufferable. It'd be like social media. You wouldn't be able to escape us. I mean, we would just be in every corner that is the internet. Real quick, Raff, did it come to you, the barbecue place you're trying to think of?
Rib Fest.
Yeah. Shout out to unknown texter 9776 also chimes in. It was Rib Fest. Yep, I don't know if they texted you as well or if
I was thinking I just thought of it right when you asked me. It was funny because I was thinking barbecue fest and I was thinking wing fest, but I was like and then once you asked me again, it hit me. That's the way I am. I'm glad I thought of it now instead of waking up at 2:00 this morning and going Rib Fest.
Your wife, what the hell are you talking about, Raff?
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry about it. Just Rib Fest. All right. We do got to throw out the break here. Don't go anywhere. We got Chris Raff. He's back on 93.7 The Ticket. Harrison Arns on the 1s and 2s back here in Lincoln, Nebraska. We'll talk to you guys in just a little bit.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
Give your furnace a break with the help of Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Heartland of Nebraska Windows offers a free estimate, full window replacements, all vinyl triple pane windows, and a lifetime warranty of everything, while still keeping their prices affordable. Sounds too good to be true, right? Heartland of Nebraska Windows is locally and family owned with their own team of installers. Give the window experts at Heartland of Nebraska Windows a call today at 402-430-3852 or visit them online at heartlandofnebraskawindows.com. Elevate your home or business with the help of Heartland of Nebraska Windows today.
A1 Automotive's second location is now open at 5110 State Hill Drive, just off of Yankee Hill Road. The new location continues to specialize in all makes and models and provides personalized service as they have for 15 years. With the school year here, A1 Automotive reminds you that college students get 10% off any service, and they offer free tire repair with a valid college ID. Schedule your appointment today at a1autolincoln.com and visit their new location in South Lincoln at 5110 State Hill Drive or downtown at 11th and L.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? You need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help you get the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Call the trial attorneys you can trust. 877-42-LIBERTY.
Schweizo Construction is now hiring for skilled craftsmen, steel erectors, concrete workers, and general laborers. Schweizo Construction offers great benefits like premium wages, health and dental insurance, paid holidays and vacation, 401k with company match, life insurance, and disability insurance. They pride themselves on a legacy of 40 years built on integrity and trust. Joining their team means becoming part of a family that values hard work, dedication, and mutual respect. Apply today at schweizo.com. That's SCHWISOW.com.
Since 1983, Fast Mike's Rollouts has been an trusted and reliable company in Lincoln and the surrounding areas. Fast Mike's handles all sides of construction projects, home renovations, or big cleanouts. With the perfect size dumpster to fit your needs, Fast Mike's Rollouts will haul it all. With same-day delivery in Lincoln, affordable rates, and top-notch service, Fast Mike's Rollouts make cleanup quick and easy. Call now at 402-450-6828 or visit us online at fastmikesrolloffs.com. Book your dumpster today. Fast Mike's Rolloffs, cleanup made simple.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Breaking here at the news desk. When you stack Allo Internet, DirecTV, and mobile, you can lock in your price for 2 years. Sources are confirming that when you stack Allo Internet, DirecTV, and mobile, your monthly price drops and you're locked in for 2 years. That's fiber fast internet, premium streaming TV, and reliable nationwide mobile coverage. And this just in, you must switch by Labor Day to secure that locked-in pricing for 2 years. Switch, stack, and save at allofiber.com/stack.
Bring new life to metal treasures with Kaiser Blasting and Coatings. From railings and fences to outdoor furniture and unique antiques, their expert team removes years of rust and weathering, then finishes each piece with a lasting powder coat. Trusted by industries across the region, now local homeowners and businesses can experience the same professional care. Visit KaiserBlasting.com or call 402-421-3559 to request your quote. Restore, protect, and make your metal shine like never before with the help of Kaiser Blasting and Coatings.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in. Harrison Arns, ones and twos. Chris Raff joining us via stream, host of the show. You guys can join in 402-464-5685. We got 2 more segments left to go here. Raff, floor is yours. Segment number 2.
All right, it's time to talk about the biggest loss of the weekend, the most heartbreaking, the saddest. Joe Burrow got injured. You thought I was going to go with the Broncos.
I thought you might. I'm proud for going Joe Burrow.
We're going to get there. We're going to get there also. But yeah, I just, man, Joe Burrow, that's just horrible for the Bengals. Like they're saying now that he's probably going to have the surgery and be out for 3 months. So he might have the opportunity to return possibly in mid-December. Like there's a good possibility they might be out of contention before he even one of those, Aaron Rodgers type things when he had the Achilles where he thought maybe he might be able to come back and play at the end of the year. But it's just, man, it's got to be so frustrating for him. You know, all these years they come out and they come out super slow. And then here this year is one of those years for him where, you know, it's like, man, I thought this was going to be his year. Like if there was MVP front runner, I think, to start the season. I thought he was that guy. Of course, you have the Josh Allens, the Lamar Jacksons, the Derrick Henrys, and those guys. But I really thought this was going to be that Joe Burrow year where you could possibly see him go for like 50 touchdowns or something like that, and to see him go down that quickly. And it looked like, on the tackle, even it wasn't like a vicious tackle. It was just the way that he had a hold of his ankle, and it looked like he just got that turf toe.
Yeah, turf toe is such a weird one. I don't. What is turf toe? Like, what's the injury there?
So it's like when you like bang your toe like really hard, it happened a lot. It happens a lot with AstroTurf or whatever they use now. I forgot what the new name of it is. So it used to be
Taylor had it too. Taylor Martinez back in the day, and it kind of derailed his career.
Yeah, it used to be very prevalent. And this one, I guess he's tore some tendons in it too. So it basically just got it, kind of a jam, but pushed back probably. But man, it's got to be so frustrating for him that this has happened, because I mean, you're giving away. Well, let's see here. He was out. Was it 2 years ago?
2 seasons ago, I think it was. Yeah, where he was out for a good chunk of the year.
Yeah. So and now you're going to have this. I mean, so he's in his fifth or sixth year in the NFL, and basically he's given 2 years back, with injuries. It's just got to be so super frustrating for him and for, Cincinnati also. The big thing in preseason was whether they get Trey Hendrickson back. They thought they got him back, that would be somebody great for their defense to add. And now that you're missing your quarterback, and now you're going to go with Jake Browning, it's going to be interesting to see, what the Jamar Chases and the T Higgins is, how their numbers look with him playing quarterback. And I think he'll be serviceable, but once again, I mean, there's only one Joe Burrow, so it'll be interesting. It'll be very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't expecting an MVP season. Not until they fixed that offensive line some more. It's just crazy when you have a guy, especially at this point, like you kind of get the idea that he's a little bit injury prone. Like that's my priority. Like my biggest asset must be protected, and they've kind of just dragged their feet on that. And not to say that this specific injury was all the offensive line's fault, but I mean they just haven't protected him very well. They spent a lot of money on the receivers and some skill guys, but at the end of the day, you got to protect your quarterback, and they've just kind of failed to do that at certain points. So they just feel for him. I mean, he's, to your point. Let's see here. They had a Cincinnati Reds team doctor, Adam Miller. He joined on one of the shows to kind of talk about it as well. Zach Taylor's spoken on it. But they're pretty much saying he will absolutely need to undergo surgery for a turf toe. And to your point, it is reportedly dealing with torn ligaments, making the injury much more severe because of those torn ligaments. So you're not going to rush him out there, but you're probably going to have another pretty bad losing season, despite paying a ton of money to some key guys.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it too. I mean, if they play themselves out of contention and he is able to come back, then you've got to basically set him out the entire year just to make sure when he comes back next year that he is 100%. But I guess it all depends now, what Jake Browning can do under center for the Bengals.
And he looks pretty good, to be fair. He actually didn't look too terrible, like taking over from Burrow there. They do win the game 31-7, and Jake Browning was 21 for 32, 241 yards, 2 touchdowns though. I guess that kind of just glossed over the 3 interceptions, so bit of a downgrade. But he's willing to sling it. He just might throw some picks.
Maybe Jake Browning or Wally Pipp, Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
No.
I really didn't realize it was 3 picks. For some reason, I remember watching bits of that game like on another TV, and every time I was watching, he must have just been throwing dimes, because every time I watched away, I wasn't seeing any interceptions. I turned over like, oh man, he just found Higgins. Oh, he just found Chase again for a huge bomb for a touchdown, and he must have been throwing all the picks when I was looking away.
Well, speaking of throwing dimes, Danny Dimes, man, I was so impressed with Daniel Jones yesterday. I mean, he is a completely different quarterback. Getting out of New York was probably the best thing that ever happened to him. At the time, I felt like he was just going to a spot where we might never see Daniel Jones play in the NFL again, but just the way everything's fell into place for him with the Colts. Like I was talking today, I don't see Anthony Richardson, being the quarterback there. If Daniel Jones continues to play the way he is, being decisive, I mean, he shredded Denver's defense. Denver could not get to him, and usually the blitz in Denver, that's the key element to their defense, and they had all kinds of trouble getting to him. He was just so quick. I mean, end of the game there, he stood in the pocket. Bonito was about ready to sack him, and he stood in the pocket, made a great throw. Yeah, it's just, I was highly impressed with Daniel Jones. I think they found themselves a quarterback, and I'm not sure what that does for Anthony Richardson now, because I don't see, if he continues to play the way he is and has that confidence, I just don't see Anthony Richardson, taking back his starting spot.
Well, it makes his job a lot harder. It's one thing it does for Anthony Richardson. Like, he's got some stuff to prove now, because your point, like, if Daniel Jones keeps playing this way, and I think that's the key, right? Because Daniel Jones keep playing this way. This isn't the first time the nation's fell in love with Daniel Jones. He's done this to us many times before, and how many times you want to get your heart broken? Like, it might go south again. You get to that second part of the season, whether it's him, taking some hits, maybe being a little too bit risky. The key for him is hold on to what you're doing right now. He's had these games, it's just never been able to put it together an entire season. Last year just wasn't going to work. I don't think regardless, but this year you got enough on offense right there. You got a really good running back. You got a pretty good offensive line who, to your point, did a really good job protecting you. And Daniel Jones, he is at that point where he's smart enough to know what the Broncos like doing defensively, to just know, if I'm still holding this ball and I'm counting up to 4 seconds, I'm probably getting hit. Like, I need to be quick getting this thing out of my hands. And that's where, I think he's just at such a mature level at this point in his career that I think he's going to have more games like this. I just don't know if, like, we get to the later part of the season, if he can finally break through it and just do it for an entire season and not have it just fade at, week 7, 8, or 9.
Yep. Oh, I agree. It'll be, and then I always say, the backup quarterback's the most popular person in town. So if Daniel Jones begins to struggle, then the murmurs will begin for Anthony Richardson and so forth. And then Broncos, it's a weird game. Like, I was upset they lost. However, I don't think they played well enough to win. And every aspect of the game, offensively, defensively, special teams, or coaching, I thought it was really not that good. But I was impressed. And the fact is, as bad as they played, they still had an opportunity to win that game, which I personally thought they probably should have won, because you could call leverage on every single field goal and extra point attempt that takes place in the NFL. And it was one of those calls that, went against the Broncos there, but probably 9 out of 10 times you see it, how you saw it on the, earlier in the game from the Colts. You could have called leverage on them, but I guess I was upset they lost. But on another hand, I think it's gonna, maybe tighten their heads a little bit, and maybe they thought they were a little. I think maybe the defense might have thought they were a little too good. I think this is going to bring them back to reality, and I think in the long run, this will be good for the Broncos.
Yeah, I actually feel for the Broncos there. Like, I don't fully understand the leverage penalty, and when it comes into play and when it doesn't come into play. It just kind of feels too willy-nilly. And at the same time, I just, as a defender, sometimes it's like, what are you supposed to do? Because sometimes they call that, and it's like really light. Like, okay, yeah, maybe he had his hand on me, but it wasn't, like he was fully using me against, like, his hand to get leverage on me. There's that rule. There's the targeting rules. Like, there's still some of these rules that just drive me crazy. And a lot of the times it's because, like, I just don't know what you're asking the defenders to do in a lot of those situations. The targeting one's worse. The leverage one, though, to me, it's more of, when you guys deciding to call this, because you guys are just kind of willy-nilly. Because to your point, like, they could have called the Colts on it multiple times in the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, but it hits the Broncos at the end of the game in the worst way possible. So,
watching that game too, I knew early in that game, like, I'll be the first one to say it, the Broncos got some calls early in the game. The Colts got some calls later in the game.
Yep.
But it felt like the referees were playing too big of a part in that game. So I kind of thought that maybe there was a way that referees might have their hand in what happened in that game, which it kind of did. But I look at the leverage call like this. it's like calling pass interference on a Hail Mary. Like every
Yeah.
time there's a Hail Mary, you could call pass interference of all the shoving and stuff going on downfield. And once every blue moon, they throw a pass interference, but you don't see it that often. But then when you do, you're just sort of like, what? And that's exactly what I felt when they called leverage. The thing that what I knew right away was I knew leverage is a 15-yard penalty. And I was like, they just went from a 60-yard penalty to a 45-yard field goal. And I'll tell you what, if they don't get that call, Shane Steichen, the way he was almost settling for a 60-yard field goal, I was befuddled by that they weren't trying to get the ball further downfield to give their field goal kicker a closer field goal. So he got saved because he would have been crucified in the Indianapolis media after the game, because they basically they got conservative, and it was almost like they got to 60 yards and they're like, yep, we're good. And I was just like, wow, that was crazy. But Colts win. Congratulations. Well done. Broncos move on. They play another day.
Crazy win. Well, to your point, they needed it. They needed all 15. That first kick, way off. was not close. He gratefully accepted 15 those yards because he drilled it right down the middle the next time. But yeah, I mean, to your point, we got to throw it to break here. But that 60-yarder, especially after you saw the first one, you're like,
yeah,
wait, there's no way in hell you guys really just settled that. Unless he's shown it in the past, but I mean, he was so far off. But then, of course, you get the 15 yards right after, and he drills it right through the middle to a very disappointing Broncos loss. And you could call it maybe a mystic leverage call or a fair enough call. But with that being said, we do got to throw it to break here. We got one more segment. Chris Raff, this is Raff's Good Take on Sports. Harrison Arns, the ones and twos. We'll talk to you guys in a little bit.
The Ticket is your home for every Kansas City Royals baseball game. Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and the rest of the Royals attempt to make the postseason for the second season in a row. And you can hear all the action on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Your home for Kansas City Royals baseball.
At CHI Health Clinic, we believe healthcare should be personal, because knowing your provider personally makes appointments more comfortable, more productive, and more meaningful to your overall health. Get matched with a primary care provider based on your personality and lifestyle using CHI Health Clinic's My Provider Match. Take the survey at myprovidermatch.com to find the right provider for you. Getting healthier starts by getting personal at CHI Health Clinic.
Hi, this is Tom Osborne. Join me on September 23rd and dine at your favorite local Renza in support of Teammates Mentoring. 10% of Renza sales on September 23rd will benefit your local Teammates Mentoring chapter. Teammates Mentoring helps students reach their full potential by providing a caring adult mentor to meet with them once a week in school. Thank you for your support of Teammates Mentoring. We will see you at Runza on September 23rd.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
Hey, it's me, your cell phone. We need to talk about something serious. I know you love me. I know you like using me wherever you are, but I feel like this isn't working out when you're driving. I know you may think that it's possible to focus both on me and the road, but I just don't feel the same way. I think we should spend time away from each other when you're driving. It's for the best.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Sometimes I just cannot believe all the storms we've gone through here. I can only hope that we'll be able to leave this house to you one day, baby. You're our legacy.
Planning for these disasters will make sure we're safe. And is the best way to protect that legacy.
Protect your legacy. Visit ready.gov/plan for the tools and tips you need to start your emergency preparedness plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hey guys, it's Nick. We had a great week 1 high school football matchup where Lincoln North Star got the 14-10 win over Lincoln Southwest, but now it's time to turn our attention to one of the best rivalries in Nebraska. This Friday at 8 p.m., join me and Jay Foreman for Lincoln Southeast versus Lincoln Southwest. Southeast is coming in off of a dominating 30-0 win versus Grand Island, while the Silverhawks look to get their first win of the 2025 season. Kickoff is slated for 8 p.m. from Seacrest Field, with pregame coverage beginning at 7:45. Join me and Jay Foreman this Friday night for Lincoln Southeast versus Lincoln Southwest, right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back to The Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Wrapping things up here, 402-464-5685. This is Raff's Good Take on Sports. Chris Raff joining me via stream. Harrison Arndt still back here, 1040 O Street at the 93.7 Ticket Studios. Chris Raff, as tradition, third segment. What do you got for Raff's Good Take today?
All right, everybody. Today's Raff's Good Take goes out to the birthday building. I want to wish a very happy second birthday to the mothership at 1040 O Street, 93.7 The Ticket, celebrating 2 years at 1040 O Street. I want to thank all the listeners, all the sponsors, DP and Rebecca, everybody that's went in to make 93.7 The Ticket the sports powerhouse of the United States. You guys,
I like it. I like it.
93.7 is Raff's Good Take.
I love it. That's a great take. I think you undersold us a little bit, though. You could say globally, not just
global. The global flamethrower, 93.7 The Ticket.
That's crazy. 2 years already, huh?
Yep, 2 years.
I'll tell you what, the time flies by really, really fast when you enjoy the job you have. It's cool to see this place advance like crazy. I mean, even you, Chris Raff, DeMornay, AD. You probably have a own list of people that you've met in your own head. It's crazy how many new people I've met already. So it feels like, I've been here for 5 years almost already, just based on how many new faces and interactions I've had. I was crazy. I don't know. It was just 2 years have already gone by. Is today like the actual anniversary date of when we opened the doors?
Yep. It is. It is. What's crazy about it too is I think back on it and just like the anticipation. Like I remember we took a tour of the building like 7 or 8 months before it opened, and DP's like, this is going to be like this. This is going to be like this. This is going to be like this. And you're in your back of your mind, you're sort of thinking to yourself, well, it might, but it can't possibly be. And then all of a sudden there's like the billboard, the 93.7, the ticket board out front, and you have the bay window, it's just stuff like that was pretty crazy. I remember our first show, we had, people out in front of the window, it was wild. So just pretty cool stuff. I think, Lincoln's very lucky to have, a sports station, that puts that much, and not just sports, the philanthropic ventures that this station does. I mean, that's what just makes it incredible.
Yeah, it is cool. I say it all the time. My favorite thing to do in different towns, cities that I'm in is like, what are the local radio guys talking about? Because that's always going to give you a good pulse. As opposed to if I listen to CBS, they're going to tell me about everything happening in the world. If I turn it on to the local guys, like you'll get to hear a little bit about like what you're getting into or what city or what's going on that weekend. And it's been really cool. 2 years on the dot since we moved to the new location downtown. That is good to know. That has officially been 2 years starting today. And it has been really cool. To your point, Raff, like I think when the tours were happening, it was like, here's the concrete floors and here's like a just falling apart ceiling. And don't, open up that door. They're still working on it over there. It's dangerous. It's like, what are we moving into? And then to your point, you're kind of just hearing the vision. And then it wasn't until, that day the day before, me, Nick Sainer, might have been Austin Orman, Jake Soren. We were here until like 2 a.m. trying to get everything together, and shout out to everybody who came down here to make it work. But It's crazy to think how far that the ticket's grown and just being 2 years downtown. Obviously, we had the years over there at the old studio, but to think even just these 2 years downtown, like how different the company's, I shouldn't say different, but how much it's grown. Been pretty incredible. Raff, give me one of your favorite guests before we get out of here that you remember.
I also want to say too, it's pretty cool that how it became a must stop when people come into town.
Yeah, absolutely.
How many people have texted me and said, "I stopped by your radio station. I stopped by, well, not mine, but you know what I mean. But stop by 93.7 The Ticket. Stop, that's pretty cool stuff." My favorite guest that we've had. Oh man,
a Mount Rushmore guest. I don't want to say favorite because then people can call you out.
Man, I'm trying to. Gosh, I'm gonna have to think. I'm gonna think on that. I got a bunch from rolling through my head, but I guess for me, the one that sticks out the most is my buddy Lucas. A little boy wrote me a note and said and wanted to come in and visit the studio one day, and I mean, I just that to get a note, it was so cool. So yeah, so Lucas, I mean, Raff's roadie right there. I think he was 8 years old, I think. And to write a note, yeah, that's my favorite guest.
That's a great answer. You can't get much better than that when you're becoming a fan of like the next generation because they're young. They're gonna tell all the young people, go listen to Chris Raff, become one of Raff's roadies. He's one of the greatest to do it. No, that's incredible. That's one where maybe we could always revisit it and do a whole Mount Rushmore of some of the greatest people that we've had come through the Ticket Studios. But
definitely,
your point. 2 years on the dot. Also, NFL Chargers up 10-3 over the Raiders 10 minutes ago in the second quarter. That is Chris Raff. I am Harrison Arns, but don't go anywhere. Derek Pearson coming up next. He'll wrap things up for a couple hours with myself right here, 93.7 The Ticket, ticketfm.com.